Well, this is one of those where were you when it happened moments in life. Today marks 30 years since the Challenger space shuttle disaster.
A wreath-laying ceremony was held at Arlington National Cemetery to honor the crews of both Apollo 1 as well as the space shuttles Challenger and Columbia. Tonight, Dave Delosier has the story of a Wisconsin astronaut who honors the legacy of the Challenger.
Minus 30 seconds, and we've had a go for auto sequence start.
I had the usual enthusiasms of a kid. And without knowing anything about the sky, I pointed at the brightest object.
And in that moment was born for Ken Nordsieck a curiosity.
So I said, I got to find out about this. And so I became an astronomer.
A payload specialist, Ken was part of NASA's space shuttle program. It would take him far, very far from his home in Wisconsin.
The more risks you take, the more chances you have of discovering something big.
They trained side by side. Ken was scheduled to fly on Challenger's 26th mission. Before him, though, would go a teacher.
Good morning. This is Krista McAuliffe.
I was really interested with what she was doing.
The first teacher in space, Krista McAuliffe, would inspire a generation to learn about science.
Because that's what got me into astronomy. I knew this experiment of getting people fascinated with science and technology through human spaceflight fascination. I knew that worked because that's what made me an astronomer.
T-minus 15 seconds.
In science, you're always doing experiments, and you're always taking risks with experiments. But at that time, of course, there were folks not necessarily understanding the risks completely.
4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission.
And as Challenger cleared the tower, Ken and his crew were training in Houston, watching.
Challenger, go at throttle up.
And listening.
Pretty quickly, everyone realized it had at last actually really gone wrong.
Just 73 seconds into the flight.
We have a report from the flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded.
Those of us who had been on simulations realized that this was not one of the launch aborts that you survive.
And slipped the surly bonds of earth to touch the face of God.
First of all, I think we should honor the people who were willing to take the risk.
Eventually, the cause of the disaster was identified as 2 rubber O-rings that had failed. It would be 2 years before the shuttle would fly again, but it would be without Ken. He came home to honor the lessons of Challenger. He became a teacher at the University of Wisconsin.
That's one of the big legacies for me of Challenger was it actually got even more attention than if she had flown, I think.
And today, at Space Place, you will find the instrument Ken trained to operate on the Challenger.
And this was the telescope that was supposed to fly in the space shuttle after the Challenger.
It is there to spark the same curiosity that another child once knew. And it is there to remind us of what was lost.
People take risks, and sometimes it happens. And so we should honor people who do that, because people should continue to do that.
And liftoff.
This is Dave Delosier, WISC News 3.
Roger, Challenger.
Nice work there, Dave Delosier. And as Dave mentioned, before retiring, Ken served as an astronomy professor at UW-Madison for 30 years.
While Ken never got to space, his ultraviolet telescope did. It flew on 2 missions once the shuttle flights resumed.
We all remember where we were that day in this generation. Very nice story there.